I went to Mount Auburn Cemetery to do drawings of the Tombstones with the Urban Sketchers in Boston last weekend. And these, I don't know how many drawings there are, 6 or 7 drawings I did in about an hour. I'd go to some location. I'd usually find a composition where the shapes sort of lined up in an interesting way. This one was neat because it had this rather Victorian ooh la la top to this headstone, and my wife over here, I don't know, my mistress, or whatever, I don't know what the other one said, I didn't look, but anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I would just go from one area to the next, spend maybe 10 minutes on each drawing, less than that, probably 5 minutes. And I was using this particular pen, and someone said, when I said it was a Waterman, someone said, "Is it a Waterman 52?" And it isn't, it's a Waterman 455, but essentially, Tina, you're not going to kill that paper any more than it already is dead. My cat loves attacking pieces of paper I put down. So, the Waterman pen are numbers, the 52 and a 455 and a 54 and a 14. They're all, or a 12, they're all coded numbers that describe whether the pen is plain black or whether it has sterling or gold fill overlay, whether it's a lever fill or an eyedrop fill. The last number is the size, the actual size of the nib. Has nothing to do with the flexibility, has nothing to do with the size of the line it makes. It's just a standard number 2 nib will fit in a number 2 holder. So, but what's really fun about many vintage pens is that they have this ability, by applying pressure, the nib splays and ink flows, and you can have a much fatter line. So I was using this pen filled with sort of brown ink, I don't know, Pelican brown or Waterman brown, to do these drawings. Now, some people don't like using Waterman ink because if you put water on it or watercolor, it'll smear. That doesn't bother me. I don't do that, so it doesn't bother me. But using waterproof ink will not always work in a fountain pen. But anyway, I just thought I would show you the variety of nibs that just happened to be on these pens in front of me. So this one, we just saw how this one wrote. Really smooth, nice springiness to it. Not as springy as some you'll see. Oop, this is missing its nib. We don't like that. What does this one have going for it? Whenever you're at an antique shop or a fountain pen show and you see a pen, always look under the hood. There might be a really nice nib. Sometimes you'll expect to find a flexible nib in a Waterman more than you would if it was a Schaefer pen, because this one is a finer nib than this one, but it's as flexible, makes the thicker line. The thickest line is similar, but there's more range because it starts out finer, I think. And this fills with an eyedropper. You just unscrew that, fill it with an eyedropper. Let's see what else we have here. What does this one do? This is a 14, a Waterman 14. This has very similar to the one I just showed you. I'm hoping I'll find one that's really wet. Another one missing its nib. I have to put nibs in these things, I guess. This one, a little bit more flexible than the first two. Still fine, very snappy. This is as good as the one I just showed you. These all are 14 karat gold nibs, and they've lasted for 100 years and will last for 100 more. All of these are really, really nice nibs. Let's just see what other ones I have here. This one, oh wow. I'm going to keep this one. No, this is really, really fun. It's, as you can see, much, much broader. And I'll put this nib in one of these pens that's missing its nib because, well, just because. I mean, I could keep it in this pen, but let's just put it in this one. Can I do that? Let's find out. Don't necessarily try this at home. I've been doing this for 40 years, so I know what I'm doing for the most part. But some nibs you need to soak to get them out, and you might need to soak this pen to get the ink to get the nib in. Now you see it's skipping here, and why is it doing that? Wasn't doing it in the other one, probably just because it hasn't been. This one probably was used earlier, and here it's just, where's some water? I don't have any water here, I guess. It'll be fine. Well, actually, I'm going to put it back where it was, because maybe that's the pen it belongs in. Come on. There's always play between the nib and the feed that, now it's skipping. Part of it might be, part of it might be because my hand was on the bottom part of the page here, and the oils of my hand are getting in the way of it. But anyway, lovely nib. Not all, some Waterman No. 2 nibs are really, really firm and really fine, or they could be firm and really broad, or they could have a stub nib. They're all so different. But generally, a Waterman nib is one that they generally are pretty flexible. Waterman was sort of old-fashioned, and they kept making flexible nibs long after other companies started making firmer ones. And they'd make firmer ones to be able to make carbon copies. So you'd have to press down without damaging the pen. So there's reasons for all different kinds of pen nibs. But anyway, just lots of fun. One of the things about old pens, the reason that this pen can do this kind of stuff is it has a lot of ink that's flowing from the sac to the nib, but there's a lot of ink right there, right at the nib. So if I do this, it'll splatter ink. So modern fountain pens don't do this, but they also don't flow very well. So an older pen will work much better, and as long as you know how to use the pen, you won't have that happen to your drawing or your shirt or your nice linen suit. So anyway, this was the pen I did these drawings with. It was a lot of fun, and these vintage pens are great for drawing. There are pen shows almost every month in cities around the world. Around every month, at least in America, in the United States. There's usually one somewhere, sometimes more. There's one this weekend in Chicago, and you'll see thousands of pens like this for sale. So you can buy them on eBay. I also sell pens, but this is not meant for a commercial for me, but they're just really, they're so much fun. This pen, what would I do with this? What kind of drawing would I do with this? This one makes me want to draw a little tiny bit more delicately, because the point just doesn't, I draw differently depending on the nib I have. It makes me think differently. It makes me, here I would draw a very detailed drawing of a tombstone, whereas this one made me sort of be a little bit more aggressive in how I drew. I have no willpower. I let the pen tell me what to do. So anyway, bye.